A common question we get asked is how do we allocate the leads? You know, who decides who gets what lead? And obviously we have territory rights or territory rights, local areas, all areas. So some franchisees are a bit confused with the way that the leads get allocated. So I'll try and just simplify how we allocate the leads, and it's I'll go back one step. It's actually not a person that makes that decision. It's what we call FMS. You start hearing this term a lot, especially after buying the franchise or investing in the franchise. It stands for Franchise Management System. It's pretty much the program that we run, which all the leads get recorded on, all the complaints, pretty much everything that we do gets recorded on FMS. The girls in the call centre will also use FMS to allocate leads into to the local franchisees. On FMS, you'll also have certain access where you can actually go down for what we call leads. And you can do that 10 days in advance. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and the list goes on. And you can be down for T, you can be down for L, you can be down for A. And I'm going to go through what these mean very shortly. You can be down for Z, you can be down for 0, P, even a H. Now, the first part is obviously T. Any ideas what T stands for? Normally I'll be asking the group of 20, 25 people, but I think it's very self-explanatory. It stands for territory. And what that means is pretty much the area that you're buying. It's in your contract. If you have a look at the last page or the second last page of your franchise agreement, there most likely will be a photo or a map of your territory. And in cleaning, it's about 2,000 to 3,000 households. And that could vary from region to region, but that's what we recommend as a territory. So, for example, it could be Mooroolbark or Mooroolbark North or Ringwood South. The idea there is what that means is you have exclusive rights for that territory. So if you're down for leads or if you're down for work, any customers that call within your territory, you have the first right of refusal. Now, the second part is what we call local. And obviously L stands for local. So if you're down for local, it means you get leads from your local as well as your territory. Now, unlike your territory, you can't change your territory, but you can actually change your local. And we normally recommend your local to be between 5 to 10k radius. And again, it's up to you. There's no rule on that. You can make it 50k radius if you wish, but your local needs to work for you. And you can, what we call geospace is you can actually draw on a map. You can dot point and draw on a map on where your local is. It doesn't have to be a perfect radius. So if there's a freeway or a suburb that you don't like, you can take it out. And if there's it may look something like this. Now, the whole idea of the local is, if you're down for L, which means you're down for local, you can actually choose which services you want to be down local for as well, which I'm going to come back to, and it will make more sense very shortly. Now, the third part is what we call A, which is your all areas. And sometimes when we say all areas, franchisees may assume it's all of Melbourne, all of Canberra, all of Perth or Adelaide. It's not. It's all of your areas. And again, our recommendation is about 25 to 30k radius as a new franchisee. And that may depend on where you are. For regional areas, they can go up to 50k's because you can cover a larger distance at a shorter period. But again, it's up to you on how far you're willing to travel. You might say, I want to go up to the city and stop at the city, or there may be a river there, you want to stop at the river. There could be a freeway along here, you want to cover the freeway. Again, there could be a suburb that you don't like servicing and take that suburb out. So it's very flexible, and the good thing about both your all areas and local areas is you can actually change it as many times as you like. It's not something that you do once and forget about it. I've seen franchisees play around with their all areas all the time, and you should actually, I highly recommend for you to review your areas every 3 months, once a quarter, in worst case every 6 months. And you might do small adjustments. but you might realise there's a lot of unserviced work in the area that you didn't want to service for whatever the reason was. You might want to think twice now. You might get a lot of regular clients on this area, and again, you might want to concentrate more on the west than the east, or more on the north than the south. So your all areas will actually evolve ideally with your business. Now, I don't want to get things too complicated, but you can also have an option where you can create zones. Okay, ideally you can have multiple zones, and you can give these zones a name. And I'll use an example of a franchisee who did this quite well. It was a franchisee by the name of John in carpet cleaning, who was he actually owned Tullamarine area as a territory. And what we worked out with John was, when we were doing his business review, he mentioned that he was going to Rye. His mum lived in Rye. He was actually travelling to Rye every weekend. On a Friday, he used to go to Rye, spend a couple of days with his mum, and go back to his territory in Tullamarine. Now, for the interstate franchisees, just to give you an idea, that distance is about 2 hours, and sometimes even more, but two to 3 hours from Tullamarine to Rye. Now, he used to go there with his van, so people see his van driving around in Rye, and what that created was we were actually getting a lot of calls because we didn't have a local franchisee in that area. We're actually getting a lot of calls in that particular zone. So we've suggested to John, why don't we create a zone in Rye, and you can activate that every time you go there and get leads while you're there if that's what you want to do. And he agreed to that. So he'll be down for all there is, similar to this, during the week. On Friday, he'll turn off his all there is and activate his zone. He'll only get leads. So he'll get leads in Rye over the weekend on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and drive back on Sunday. So he'll go there, see his mum, do a couple of jobs, go for a swim, and come back on Sunday night. And that really worked out for him. Again, if you're planning, and this is just an example, you might have similar situations with your business, or if you simply want to create zones around your area where you can turn on and turn off, that's a good way of doing it as well. Most franchisees use what we call local all areas. Obviously that's there for some of the franchisees for their needs as well. Now, if you're down for A, which means all areas, you'll get leads from your all areas, local, and your territory. If you're down for local, you get leads from your local and your territory. If you're down for T, which means you only get leads from your territory. And you can change this any time. So you might get a cancellation, and you might want to say, yep, I want to be down for all areas for the rest of the week. Or you might pick up a larger contract where you might say, I'm not taking any leads for the rest of the week. I want to be down for 0, which means you're not taking any leads at all. Now, the code P actually stands for previous clients only. So what that means is what we realised with some franchisees, they actually didn't need or didn't want to take new leads because they were pretty much 90-95% booked out, but they were happy to take previous clients. So we've created a code. So if you're down for it's great for businesses that's almost booked out, or 90% or 95% booked out, and they're happy to take their previous clients. The good thing about previous clients is they've used your service before, so the converting those leads should be almost 100%. At the same time, you don't really pay a lead fee for that because you've paid for it for the first time. So when a customer calls back for the second time, for the third time, for the 10th time, there's no lead fee. So any customers call the call centre, from our system, we can actually see that as soon as we get the address, we can see that John or Bill or Hayder serviced that lead before. Will go back to you at no cost. As long as you're down for leads or you're down for P. If you're down for 0, it will mean that lead may go to someone else. Now, a common question I get asked is what happens if there is a local franchisee in the area, or if there's more than one franchisee down for a certain area? I'll use a different colour so it just makes more sense. Let's assume we have a franchisee here, and that's his all areas. Okay, so let's give them names. So we'll call this guy John, and call Bill. So obviously if any customers call from, let's assume they're both down for all areas. If any customers call within their territory, they'll get their lead. The system does not look at anything else because you own that territory. As I mentioned earlier, those leads will go to you. Now, what happens to the leads which are in between? Now, this is where FMS comes into place. And FMS always looks at last 7 days. So if Bill received 4 leads, and I'm just giving examples, and if John received 6 leads, next 2 leads, even though that lead may be closer to John, it doesn't matter because it's outside of his territory, it will go to Bill because Bill's next in line for the next 2 leads. It always looks at the last 7 days. So tomorrow, we'll look at the last 7 days again. And after receiving 2 leads, John will be back on top. And there could be more than 2 franchisees. In some areas, there could be 5 franchisees or more. And again, the system is very fair. It always looks at the last 7 days. Whoever's got less leads will be on top. And that's why I always recommend only be down for leads when you need it. So for example, sometimes franchisees say, oh, I really don't know when to turn on and turn off my leads because I'm 80% booked out, but I still want to fill in those gaps. In a case like that, I would recommend for you to be down for local rather than all areas. Depending obviously on how many leads you're getting, which would mean that you get less leads than your local franchisees in the area, but you can actually afford to be pick and choosy and travel less to those leads. Another example is if you're booked out for a week or 2, should you be down for leads? And the answer is no, because most customers will need your service that week or at least the following week. So ideally, what I would suggest is for you to be down for territory only, so you maybe don't miss out on any leads in your territory. And later on the week, you can, depending on how your schedules are looking, you can go back to all areas, all local areas if you need to. And the good thing about that is, let's bring a third person in. Let's say James was not down for leads for 7 days, simply because he was booked out. But this week's looking, he's got gaps to fill in. And what can James actually is, he received 0 leads last 7 days. So as you can see, he's going to be on top. At least for the next 4 leads, he'll be on top. Now, you can also set a maximum number of leads you can receive per day as well. That's optional. Some franchisees don't want to get bombarded with too many leads, and they can say, I want to receive maximum of 3 leads or 2 leads per day, and you can do that as well. But the whole idea there is it's a very fair system, and it provides the leads in the areas that you're down for the services that you're available to do. Now, that looks a bit very complex when I look at it from here, but if you have any questions about the areas, you can always ask your franchisor because they know how it all works. But not to confuse you even more, the second part is what we call services. So when a customer calls in for a service, FMS looks at what area they're from and what service they need. Now the services, for each division we have about 10 to 15 different services. For cleaning, just to name a few, will be clean once, clean regular, commercial once, commercial regular. So a commercial client is something that's not domestic, to simplify it. Any customer that's not domestic. So it could be offices, it could be warehouse, it could be retail, it could be a medical centre, it could be a school. We classify those commercial leads. Now, we also have vacate leads, where end of lease, or some people call it real estate cleans. That's a separate service code. We have a service code for oven cleaning. We have a service code for builder's clean. So these are the services for cleaning, and for each service that you can actually choose what area you want to be down for. What I mean by that is, if you're down for all areas, you can say, I'm happy to receive a vacate clean in all areas, but for an oven clean, I only want them in my local. So the idea there is, the system will say, yep, no problem, we'll send you vacate leads from your all areas, we'll only send you oven clean from your local in your territory. And you can actually choose that with all the services that we have. Obviously, as a new franchisee, you want to be down for all areas and all services. But as your business grows, you can actually concentrate on certain services that you like doing. For example, I have franchisees that love doing vacate cleans and builders cleans, and they're the only services that they're down for. I've seen franchisees they're only down for commercial leads. Again, we don't really recommend this at the start of your journey because you need the leads to come through because you start with pretty much an empty diary. But as your business grows, you can actually say, these are the leads that I want to concentrate on. Now, for car detailing, your leads include premium, like a mini detail, which is a basic wash, cut and polish, interior deluxe, exterior deluxe, full detail, paint protection, headlight restoration. So there's lists of services for car detailing as well. For carpet, to list the carpet cleaning services includes carpet cleaning, upholstery cleaning, mattress cleaning, stripping vinyl floor, strip and seal as we call it, tile and grate cleaning, duct cleaning, and leather cleaning. For windows and pressure, obviously it's two divisions combined, so you've got access to both services. So all the window cleaning services such as single story windows, double story windows, high rise. Then you have your solar panels. For the pressure cleaning side of the things, you've got different pressure cleaning services including graffiti removal, pressure cleaning driveway, brick cleaning or acid cleaning as well. So there's lists of services for each division. As I mentioned earlier, the more services that you're down for in your all areas, the more leads you're going to receive. And 6 months later or 12 months later, you can actually review your business and you can actually change your services or change your areas. And the last division is about blind cleaning and repairs. Self-explanatory, you can be down for all the blind cleaning leads as well as the repair leads. So if a customer calls up and says, I want my oven cleaned in a suburb in your all areas, even though that you're down for all areas, there's obviously you're not going to get that lead because you said you only want them in your oven, in your local. So it's the system is very black and white. There's no grey area. You'll either get the lead or not. Sometimes I get emails from franchisees saying, I've got a lead here and it's too far out. It's not worth me going to. And the answer I have for that is, well, you're down for it. You should adjust your areas. The FMS will only send you leads in areas that you're down for. So therefore, if you realise you're getting leads which are 30 k's out, 40 k's out, 50 k's out of your area, you don't want to travel that much anymore, adjust your areas accordingly. Now, what happens if any customers that call outside of your areas? Let's assume it's outside of Bill's area, outside of John's area. What would happen to that lead? Well, the answer is very simple. The 20,000 unserviced leads, 25,000 unserviced leads that we've mentioned earlier today will be 25,001. So that will be an unserviced lead. Now, you do have the option to be down for notifications for unserviced leads. So it's on Gyms Online where you tick a box where you say, please notify me for all unserviced leads. So you will get a notification. And sometimes that notification can go to more than one person. And in that notification, we'll just say it's a real estate clean in Broadmeadows or vacate cleaning lead in Broadmeadows. We won't have the details of the customer, it's just a notification. The first person to call the call centre will get that lead. We always send the lead to one person only, to one franchisee only. Now, the last part is what we call times 2 leads, X2 leads. That's when a customer calls for more than one service. So it's very common for clients to call and say, I'm moving out, I need a vacate clean, and I need a carpet clean as well. So what we do then is we send that lead to a cleaning franchisee for the vacate clean, and we'll also send the same lead to the carpet cleaning franchisee for the carpet cleaning services. And on both messages, we'll have, I'm running out of room here, but we'll start with times 2. And the idea of that is, we'll attach each franchisee's details, so you'll know, if you're a carpet cleaning franchisee, you'll have the cleaning franchisee's details on the lead as well as the client. So obviously you're there to quote for carpet cleaning service if you're a carpet cleaner. If you're a cleaning franchisee, you're there to quote for the cleaning services. It's a great way of building that network as well, because you have each other's phone number. You can actually call. The customer may say, request, I want it done on Saturday. So you can, as a cleaning franchisee, you might call the carpet cleaner and say, look, I'll go in first thing in the morning. I'll be finished by 1 o'clock. The carpets should be the last thing that should be cleaned in the house. So therefore, you can come in after 1 and do the carpet. So it's all about networking and communicating with each other as well. But if you need any help with the ×2 leads or converting those leads, you can always ask your franchisor as well. Now, with the services, obviously you can be down for your core business services only. So if you're a cleaning franchisee, you'll only be down for cleaning services. If you're a car detailing franchisee, you'll be down for car detailing services. It's a common question we get asked is, especially in cleaning industry, can I do carpets or can I do windows? Now the answer is for carpets, it's a definite no. And the simple reason for that is, firstly, you need the machinery and equipment, which most carpet cleaners pay about $15,000 to $20,000. So we don't allow franchisees to go and hire machines or use those cheap machines because we've seen a lot of insurance claims for them. The second reason is your insurance does not, as a cleaning franchisee, does not cover you for carpet cleaning services. So again, that's a huge risk that you're running as well. So what we recommend is to give those carpet cleaning leads to your local carpet cleaner, and I'm sure you can do a lot of networking and referrals within each other. With window cleaning, as a cleaning franchisee, you can do window cleaning as long as it's not a builder's clean and as long as it's not above 2 meters. And the reason for that is anything above 2 meters, you need working at heights training certificate. It's an external course. And again, if you get that training, yes, you can. But for safety reasons, all window cleaning franchisees will have working on heights. So cleaning franchisees, if it's above 2 meters, you'll need to call in Jim's window cleaning. Now for builders cleans, the reason why we don't allow cleaning franchisees to do window cleaning for builders cleans is because of the insurance claims. We had a lot of insurance claims over the last few years due to cleaning franchisees scratching windows while they're trying to take the paint off, or concrete residue, or it's easier to scratch those builders clean windows. That includes any renovations. It could be a new house, it could be a new shop or retail, but you can still do the cleaning, but you need to get the windows done by professional Jim's window cleaning franchisees. Now, for any reason, if you do damage the windows on a builder's clean, the excess that you'll be paying on insurance is, I'll just write it here, $5,000. And again, the reason for that, it's every other excess is about $1,000, but only for windows on a builder's clean is $5,000. That's why it's important to use your local Jim's window cleaning franchisees, especially for builder's cleans.